Hey guys, it's Coach Josh coming to you with another Ask the Coach question. So this question comes in from Annie. Annie asks, what gear do I need if I'm plussing up to ultra running? If I'm new to ultra running, what kind of gear should I look for? So in my opinion, if you're already a runner, there's not a lot of extra gear that you need, but I did put together a list of some of the items that you definitely should look at getting. And then I have an additional list of things that are nice to have if you're into the sport for a while. So right off the bat, one of the things is a definite is shoes. Most ultra runs are done on trails, and while road shoes will work in a pinch, especially for some of those groomed trails, if you plan on running in ultras for a while or to run in any weather or any terrain, you definitely need to get a pair of trail shoes. So I often get a question, what's the difference between road shoes and trail shoes? Well, there's three main differences. The outer, so the bottom of your shoe, on a road shoe, it's fairly flat, not a lot of variation with the shoes, not a lot of grip on there. That's the main difference on the outsole. On trail shoes, some thicker lugs, and that's mainly for gripping on the dirt or mud. Also, the midsole, so the next part inside of the shoe, they're a little bit beefier, firmer on trail shoes, and that's just in case you step on a pointy rock or a pointy root, kind of saves your foot inside of that shoe. Some shoes come with a rock plate that you can insert inside of the shoe for additional protection. And then finally, trail shoes, they have a beefier upper as well. So the top part of the shoe, some of those road shoes, they're just made out of mesh and they feel really comfortable. But if you're going to catch a rock or a root or a log when you're bringing your foot through, it could rip that pretty easily. And I've ripped my fair share of trail shoe uppers. They are supposed to be beefier. And finally, if you plan on being around the sport for a while, you're going to end up getting a lot of shoes. And it does pay to have multiple pairs of the same shoes. So if you're running, 2 days in a row, and you get your shoes muddy or wet on day one, it's nice to have another pair for day two, so you can clean that first pair and let them air dry. And then day two, you have a nice, dry pair of shoes. Also in races, it's really nice to have, clean, new pairs of shoes to put on late stages of an ultra. It just feels wonderful to put on a new pair of shoes. So the second thing I would look at is, changing up your fuel. So if you're the type of runner that just uses gels or those really sweet products, that will tend to give you some issues if you run really long in ultras. Using those super sugary gels tend to upset your stomach over time. There's lots of different products on the market that aren't so sweet tasting, and there's some that even have pre-mixed electrolytes in them. So I use an unflavored version of Tailwind. That's the product name Tailwind, and it really works great for me, but you'll have to find something that works for you and your gut. The Tailwind that I use, it's already got electrolytes pre-mixed into it. It's kind of savory tasting. There's really no sweetness to it at all. So it really works for me, but you'll just have to find what works for you, and sometimes you have to find the hard way, what doesn't work for you, and sometimes that's not very fun, but it's just what happens. So with this extra fuel and these longer distances, you definitely need something to carry all this extra water you need, all this fuel you need, and there's some safety gear that I'm going to recommend that you need as well. You need something to carry that as well. So the waist belts with the hard plastic bottles that most road runners use, those really won't work anymore. They just don't carry enough fluid for you. The handhelds are nice to have and they'll get you through some training runs, but you still need something to carry some extra safety gear. So what I use is a running vest, a hydration vest from Solomon. It's an advanced skin 12. So they have an advanced skin 5 as well that just has less carrying capacity, but it's got pockets. It's got a big bladder pocket in the back. It's got a 2-liter bladder that I put water in. It's got spots in the front that I put flask in that carry my fuel, and then it's got pockets all around where you can put some additional safety gear. So safety gear, if you're running in like a mountainous area, that you could run into some cold weather or be stuck out there for a while, definitely some warmer clothes, a space blanket, your cell phone maybe, You need a place to carry that, and this running vest will be really good for that. So other than those three items, there's really two other items that, in my opinion, are a must-have right away, and that's the rain slash windbreaker. Most races require some sort of, jacket to be carried with you throughout the race. So you might need it for a race anyways, but it's really good to have if you plan on running out in the wilderness and potentially going to get lost or the weather's going to change on you. It may, really benefit you in a pinch. So my go-to jacket is the Patagonia Houdini Air. It packs inside of itself and do something like this size. And I can just throw it in the back of my pack and really don't even notice it's there, and I can pull it out if I need it. And then lastly, the other must-have item is anti-chafe cream. So if you know what I'm talking about, then you definitely probably already have some. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you really don't want to find out. So just buy some anti-chafe cream and don't worry about it. Put it everywhere. So my go-to anti-chafe cream is Squirrel's Nut Butter. They come in both a little jar like this that you can dip out of, and sticks that you can use on the go. They even have small little sticks about this size that you can put in your pack. So that's it for items that I think you should definitely have when you're getting started in ultra runners. Now I'm going to go over a couple items that are nice to have if you plan on being in the sport for a while. So I just made a purchase of arm sleeves, which outdoor research makes some really good arm sleeves. They serve a couple purposes. If it's super sunny out, it covers up your arms without needing to wear a long sleeve. They do have a UV protection with them, but they also help cooling. So you can tuck some ice where the armpit is, excuse me, the elbow pit is, and also where the wrist is. Those are really good places to put ice during races and stuff to help cool you pretty quickly. Also, if you plan on running at nighttime, which happens a lot during ultras, you need some kind of either headlamp or lamp that goes around your waist to help obviously see at night. So you can start with just a cheap battery powered, AAA battery powered headlamp. You will need to change the batteries often with that. It tends to go dim until the batteries run dead, which is not nice. Running specific lamps tend to stay its brightest and give you a warning by flashing when the batteries are going dead, so it doesn't slowly get dim on you. Another nice thing to have is poles, trekking poles. Now I have a pair. I really use them when I go hiking. I don't use them to run, but I hear all the time how beneficial they are if you plan on running a mountainous race that's got a lot of ups and downs. It saves some of your damage to your legs on the down for sure. Another nice to have is a GPS watch with a long battery life. It's a nuisance trying to charge your watch during a race, but it is possible. I've done it plenty of times. And depending on how long you go, it's going to happen regardless of whatever watch you choose. So if you already have a GPS watch, I wouldn't do it right away, but eventually it may be beneficial to buy one that's got a longer battery life. And then finally, my last of nice to have is gaiters. Gaiters, they go over your shoes and around your leg, and it basically keeps rocks, dirt, sand from going into your shoe or into your sock. I don't use gaiters, never have, but I see lots of people use them at races, and here they're really good at keeping stuff out of your shoe. So that's it. That's all the gear that I think you need if you're just getting into the sport of ultra running. Thanks, Annie, for the question. If you have any questions or you think of any gear that I didn't list, put them in the comments below. Reply to this email, and you can also send some questions to me on Instagram, or you can text them to me. All right, guys, take care.